All right, guys, welcome to episode number 199 of the Digital Barbell podcast. What are we going to do for episode 200?
It's going to be a big party.
Fireworks? Can you set off fireworks on a podcast?
No.
Speaking of fireworks, happy early New Year to everybody. It's coming up soon.
Speaking of New Year, we've got a great New Year special coming up.
Yeah, let everybody know what the deal is.
So starting in January, if you sign up for custom training, you get a free month of custom nutrition.
And it's not just starting in January, it's only for January.
If you join in January.
Right. And we're going to limit this to the first 10 people that sign up. If you're curious what it is like to have a custom training program with Digital Barbell, it's not about downloading a template off of the internet and just heading off into the gym and not knowing if you're doing what is going to lead to your goals. It's about talking with us about what you want to achieve, what your schedule is, what equipment you've got, what injuries you've had in the past. Did I leave anything out off that list? And then having us customize something towards those goals. And then just as important to that is having a coach alongside to make sure you're doing everything correctly, to make sure you're using the right weights, to make sure you're using the right form, that you're pushing yourself hard enough, monitoring your progress, knowing when you're ready for a deload, giving you travel workouts when you travel, all through the convenience of our app that we coach all of our clients through. And, you know, we need to get on the phone and see if we're a good fit for each other. You need to apply for coaching so we can make sure that we feel like you're in a place that we can help you and that, you know, just to set you up for success. But assuming that we're a match, boom, a free month of nutrition coaching. That's a big value, and it's really going to amplify your results in the first month. And like you said, no strings attached to continue past that free month. But yeah, I don't know if we'll ever offer this again, but I'm excited to help people kick their butts into high gear.
Yeah.
How was your Christmas? What would you say your favorite present that you got was?
For my family, Jonathan and I got some really sweet electric bikes.
That's your favorite gift?
They're just so fun,
Yeah, something we never would have bought for ourselves probably.
Yeah.
So we've just been riding them around the driveway mostly and down the street, but we'll probably bring them camping with us. We can throw them in the back of the truck and leave the dogs in the camper and go tootle around, I guess.
I'm excited.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. I think they last probably, I don't know, like an hour or two of just riding around.
And you can just pedal it if you run out of juice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm excited about those two. I thought you were going to say it was like something I got you, but I'll, ouch. I think my favorite thing might be this hat that you got me. I haven't really taken it off since Christmas morning. It's an Astros hat for all of our Houston fans.
I got him a pair of K-Swiss. So he completely rejected them. If anybody has an opinion on K-Swiss, I'd love to hear it. I thought they were really cool. I know K-Swiss was like, we used to work at Foot Locker and it was popular back several years ago, decades ago.
Exactly my point.
And now I think they're making a comeback, and he wanted a pair of like casual shoes to wear with jeans. Like, so, you know, he destroys shoes very quickly. That's one of the things is like every kind of, you know, birthday or Christmas or whatever, he always asks for shoes. I'm just like constantly buying this guy shoes, and I'm just like, you're destroying shoes within like 6 months. So anyway, it's like, okay. You have a pair of casual shoes, and then maybe your gym shoes, and maybe you can keep them a little bit longer. But the K-Swiss looked so good. Nope. He won't have them.
First of all, they're bright white. So you're talking about how hard I am on
they're white leather shoes.
Yeah. I'd have to be spray
painting. And they have the gum
those.
sole. They're really cool. If they were my size, I'd wear them.
I just didn't feel like myself. And I felt like some
kind
of
for 2 seconds.
Hipster wannabe. Like, I'm much more comfortable in a pair of Vans or...
Yeah, where you can see your socks. It's not a good look.
Why don't we post a picture of me in this K-Swiss and leave it up to the listeners? All right, so I'll put it back to the special for January, the free nutrition coaching. I'll put a link for how you can apply in the show notes of this episode, and let's talk and let's see if we can help you out with both things. So, but that's not all we're talking about today. Today is all
about K-Swiss either.
Our 22 takeaways from 2022. So 22 is a lot of things to get through, so we won't be talking a lot about each one, but you'll probably notice that some of these are themes that come up a lot in our coaching. But these are things that we've, you know, either personally experienced this year or just things we've been talking about a lot with clients. Yeah. Things maybe we've changed our mind on. And we're just going to kind of try to go through this relatively quickly. So 22 takeaways from 2022. All right,
let's go. First one, easy one. I mean, if you had to guess, you'd probably guess this is what the one I was going to say.
Get get
Do burpees.
get better behaved dogs. What is it?
Yeah. Do hard things always.
Yeah.
I mean, that one just had to be on the list. It had to be first. But I think it's something that we both stand behind, of how much just doing something hard, doing something that you don't think that you can do, something that you might not want to do, how good that is for you across the board after you're done.
Biggest takeaway from do hard things for me and with my clients is it builds self-efficacy. It shows you that you can do things, and it builds that trust in yourself to where you're not afraid to try new things because you know you have what it takes to do it.
It builds confidence. Yeah. I mean, and this can be, if a burpee is a hard thing for you, that's always my good example. But if a burpee is a hard thing for you, doing a workout with a set of 10 burpees in a row is a hard thing. And you doing this over and over again, you realize these things about yourself, that you can face these hard things and then come out stronger in the end.
Yep. It's not even just about workout stuff.
Right.
We had the episode where we talked about our trip to Boise and how getting out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, that was a very hard thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to just be getting yourself out of breath or things like that.
Exactly. All right. Second one, don't panic or doomsday situations.
Yeah.
For me, this comes from, I had a lot of weird little things happen. Like I had that weird thing that happened after we came back from Idaho, and I ate too much gum, and my stomach was just destroyed for 2 weeks, or I got this weird congestion for 2 months after we went to a concert that was super dusty. Just some weird things had come up, and I've learned throughout these that I really do. I caught myself doomsdaying my situation, just if this is it for me, it's this is it. This is how I'll be forever. I'll never run again, or I'll never have the strength I had, yesterday. And I've learned that I will.
Yeah. I had to talk you off the ledge several
times this year.
Will I ever be able to run again? Will I ever be able to pick up a barbell?
I don't even like running. I don't know why I'm so afraid of it, but it was just when you can't do something, you realize that's another little quick one in here, but you realize the value that you have in these things that you just sometimes write off. I don't want to do my warm up. I don't want to run around the driveway. And then a day you can't, and man, you want to so badly.
Mm-hmm. I think I kind of lost my train of thought. You made me think of something. Yeah. Oh, just about basically worrying and anxiety. I sent an email out about this week. Panicking and doomsdaying is really you're forcing yourself to live through the feelings of going through this horrible thing, whether it happens or not.
Yeah.
So just cut it off at the source. And if things do go south, deal with it at that time. Don't put yourself through it unnecessarily if it may never even happen.
Right. Okay. All right. Next one. This is one I contributed, but time flies by. Yeah. I mean, it is a blink of an eye now that I feel a year goes by. And if there are things that are on your bigger lists that you're I want to, do this or do that or do this or do that. I mean, one of the things on our big list is we've always wanted to have kids, and it hasn't happened yet. And, we're not getting any younger.
Time is still flying by.
Time is still flying by. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how has it been almost 2 years since we moved back to Texas?
It's crazy.
It's been a blink of the eye.
It's sometimes I can't even remember when we lived in Idaho. It's it feels so long ago now. So, yeah.
So, how do you... what do you do with the fact that time flies by?
I think you just have to take action.
Be intentional.
Instead of pushing things off, you have to start to take more action than push back.
Yeah, I think we're going to get into that in a few numbers here too. But totally agree on that.
Okay. This one's silly, number 4, but adventure often, buy a camper.
Just go on YouTube, search campers, go down the rabbit hole, and eventually you too will own a camper.
But we really have. This has been a year exactly since we bought the camper, and it really has led us to adventure more this year than we have in the past. We're really bad about taking vacations on purpose or at all. So even though we can still work while we're in the camper, it allows us to get this little adventure and get to try different places. And I'm excited to try even more places in the next year. Yeah.
I think maybe our default is to just stay home, and then when the idea comes up, kind of overanalyze it, figure out a reason why we shouldn't do it, and then end up not doing it. But yeah, that was the whole reason we bought the camper in the first place, was to also force us outside of
Or
comfort zone.
Yeah.
So adventure, often I like that one.
Yeah.
Whether or not you can rent a camper
Yeah,
too.
whether or not it's camper. It just that was all right. The fifth one is invest in yourself and or in your business.
Yeah. This was like, I guess it was mostly in 2022. Like we ponied up a lot of money investing in ourselves and in our business to make sure that we were on the right track and setting ourselves up for long-term success.
Yeah.
I'm investing in a coach right now to help me rehab my shoulder. Like whatever that means to you, like pony up some skin in the game and invest in your own self-growth, really, whether it's fitness related or not.
Yeah. Something's shaking on the desk. Can't figure out what it is.
It's probably
Do you hear it?
My fancy coffee over here. Oh, it's probably our cord hitting the desk.
Okay, sorry.
I'll stop leaning on it.
I don't know who it is.
Edit that out, producer.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself. Anything else you want to say in that one?
I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Surround yourself with like-minded and supportive people.
You skipped one.
I know.
Edit that part out too, producer. Okay. Go ahead. Say it again.
Surround yourself with like-minded and supportive people.
Yeah. I think like a lot of the reason people lose their results with their fitness is because they skip this one. They go on this like solo mission to get in shape, to lose weight, whatever, and they get the result that they want, but they never like actually surrounded themselves with people who also want those things for their life. And eventually the temptation gets so strong, or the other people's negative comments weasel their way in enough to make you start, going back to your old ways and doing just like that. Like if you can along the way just start to follow people that are more supportive, make friends at the gym, just find people that you can message with on Instagram who are also on the same journey as you. Listen to supportive podcasts, read books that keep you interested in the topic that you're trying to improve on. And man, you like, not only will it make the process so much more enjoyable, but you're much less likely to kind of fall back into your old ways.
And you're on a personal journey. So, whatever your mission is in life, you're on this personal journey, but I think sometimes it can feel like isolating, especially if you are surrounded by people that aren't doing, having the same goals as you. But if you put yourself out there and you do surround yourself with more like-minded people, more groups that support you, you will find that you're not the only one doing this, or you're not the only one struggling in the area. That there are so many people trying the same thing as you and doing the same thing as you and struggling with the same thing as you. And that's just such a great support system to surround yourself with those people.
This was really the reason that we started the members only Facebook groups, to connect our members to be that for each other. Because a lot of the people, they don't have a supportive spouse in the house, or they don't have supportive friends. I was talking with one of my nutrition coaching clients this week, and she had just gotten back from a Christmas trip. And man, just like the stuff that she told me went on just like really fired me up and made me super triggered and super sad, just that how much crap people gave her. These are her family members. This isn't strangers, for trying to get a workout or two in while she was at their house. Like she literally had to sneak away and do like a air squat, lunge, push-up workout in her room where nobody would see her.
Right.
Because they were already giving her such a hard time for wanting to like not indulge in every single thing that was offered to her as far as food goes. And like they gave her such a hard time. I was like, it's just like, if you obviously you can't change your family. So do everything you can with the friendships that you can foster to build some support. Because there's going to be a lot of people that try to drag you down. They feel threatened by you. They try to throw you off track. Do what you can. Also,
those people, sometimes they are in that threatened mindset at that moment, and that's why they, kind of put you down for doing things that are healthy. But then I've found that they eventually come around.
They can,
of course. They can eventually come around and understand and see the light and understand like why you were doing what you were doing, and then praise you for that versus like put you down for it.
Yeah, you can always hold out hope and continue to set the example, but don't.
It's hard though.
You can't force them to change, and you can't force them to not give you a hard time if they're if they're set on doing it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go back to the one I missed. Get organized. I think this was a big one for us personally this year. We hired a business financial planner I'm always like struggling with the right word, what to call him. And we just put out the podcast that we were on with him a few episodes ago. And that was just a huge one for us. Cause I have a background and I worked for Rice University for almost 18 years. And like, they were organized for me as far as like financial planning
right.
for my future. And then,
when you work for yourself though,
when I worked for myself, when I owned a gym, and now when we own Digital Barbell, we have to do this ourselves. And I think that was a big thing that we did this year to push ourselves to be more organized in our financial future.
Mm-hmm. I think you could take this down to like the big things like that, but also the smaller things, like how much of your life feels out of control and how much does that stress you out? Like, can you hire like an organizing company to come into your house? We know somebody you can hire actually if you're in San Antonio, but to help like take some of that stress away. Like it's all these little micro stresses that can really add up to making you feel completely overwhelmed. This is something probably that Caitlin Dunlap helps people with. We interviewed her for the podcast too. Helping people eliminate some of these small stresses throughout their life, feel more organized so they can focus on the things that really do matter for their health and fitness, and not like, how am I going to find 2 matching socks in this like destroyed drawer of random socks that have no mate.
Yeah, it just takes that effort to like get organized, and then once you've done it, you're just like, I can breathe right now, and and your days are easier because of it. Cool. All right.
This episode sponsored by Marie Kondo. This is what's making the noises. This little cord that you're jacking with over here.
All right. You can't out-program excuses.
Yeah. So at the root of this is, if you're not being consistent with whatever you're trying to do, if you're missing workouts consistently, if you're always making bad choices with your nutrition that go against your goals, there is no way that you can change your program if you're hell-bent on finding an excuse to not do the thing. You don't need to change you don't need to do your bench press after your back squats.
Yeah.
You don't need to change your protein goal from 125 to 130. That's not it.
Right.
You're going to find a way to make an excuse. You can't out-program the natural desire to make excuses. You have to get to a place where you're just like, I'm sick of not getting results. I take full responsibility for the excuses I've made that have held me back up until this point. And now I'm going to do something different.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the mindset of like eating, stopping and eating fast food or just junk, and then worrying about like buying the organic bananas or whatever at the grocery store. That's kind of the same mindset, I feel like, of just like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're putting the emphasis on the wrong.
Or like, when should I eat the protein after my workout, when you're not focusing on like just eating whole foods and eating them in the right quantity.
Yeah, that's totally about making the small things the big things and ignoring the big things that actually get you results.
Yeah, because sometimes it's easier to be like, I'm going to focus on these little things because it kind of leads us to like feel like we're doing something, but we're really just pushing it off.
And I think like this whole thing about making excuses has to come from a place of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to continue to live in denial about the excuses that you're making, then there's really nothing that somebody else can do for you. There's no coach that can motivate you out of excuse making mode.
Yeah.
You have to eventually get to a place where you're like, I'm calling myself out on the excuses I've been making. I'm not that busy. My phone reminds me every Sunday when my screen time pops up on my phone that I just am not that busy. I'm tired of saying like, I don't like to eat chicken breasts.
Right.
I would rather eat pizza. Like, okay, if you're hell bent on making that excuse, then that will continue to hold you back. There's no way you can change your program to stop you from making excuses. That has to come from within. Yeah. Can you tell this is something I'm passionate about?
I can tell. All right.
And let me just say this, like, I'm not coming from like a high horse here. Like the reason I can be passionate about this is because I see it in myself sometimes and I have to catch myself, be like, all right, Jonathan, you're making excuses. Like, you caught me in one today.
I did.
We vowed to stop putting our frying pans in the dishwasher because
we had to buy a new one because we ruined it by putting in the dishwasher.
Last night, I made something in the frying pan. I was feeling lazy, and I put it in the dishwasher.
Not the new one, though. No, and when I said, why'd you put the frying pan in the dishwasher? He said, but that's not the new one.
Yeah, I tried to come up with an excuse. Yeah. No shame. Just so you know, when you go back in the house, I washed it and put it on the drying rack.
I love it. All right. Next one. We killed that one. Just start. again and again and again and again and again. I think this is kind of like back to the doomsdaying thing of like, if there's something that comes up and you get thrown out of your flow of, just restart. It doesn't matter if it's a Wednesday, it doesn't matter what day of the month it is. It doesn't need to be the first of the year. Just get started again.
Yeah. Maybe like reframing this in your mind, being like, I never stopped.
Yeah.
Don't ever tell yourself that you stopped.
You're
Don't
off
ever
track.
use the term off track.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that maybe things didn't go perfectly that led up to how you're feeling right now, but then just start you were doing before you felt like you had needed to restart.
3 p.m. on a Thursday. Just start.
Start.
It doesn't. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things is like, it doesn't have to be a beginning of the week, a beginning of the month, a beginning of the year.
Yeah. Can I throw in a caveat to this one?
Sure.
Be careful with this one to have some awareness to be able to call yourself out on your own baloney if you feel like you are starting again. Because what's the saying? Like, the definition of it, insanity is like, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If there's something that's like causing you to go through this start, stop cycle, take a step back, look at what it is, decide if that's something that you want to change, take the responsibility for that, and then try a different tactic. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is the low hanging fruit of like, I'm starting over every Monday because I screw up my diet every Saturday, Sunday. Maybe the fact is you don't need to just keep starting and stopping and starting and stopping. You need to figure out like, why are you being so restrictive during the week? Why are you cutting out everything that makes you love your life to the point where you feel like you have to go nuts every weekend? Yeah. Do you hate your workouts? Is that the reason that you're not working out? Let's be honest, like, loving working out cannot be a prerequisite for you deciding whether you want to exercise for your health or not. I mean, sure, like, at this point, we love working out most of the time.
Yeah, but there's things that we do that we don't love to do.
Right.
We know we love the outcome of it.
Right. And in the process, we get to do it together and everything. But I kind of forgot where I was going with that. But you can't
love working out to make yourself work out is what you were kind of saying.
Yeah. Like, I lost my train of thought. I was too fired up. Plus, if you're watching the video, I'm drinking an espresso over here. So my brain is rattling around a little bit inside of my skull right now. If it comes back to me, I'll interject.
Okay, good. All right, 10th one.
Oh, I just remembered what it was.
Here we go.
Yeah, so I was going to say, if you hate your workout program, like, you might need to try something different in order to be more consistent. So you're not starting, stopping. Not that you have to love it 100% of the time, but it's got to be something you're at least willing to go do. Right. Or, pay somebody to hold you accountable to, at least. Yeah. All right, I'm done with that.
Okay, goodness. All right. Counting calories is not all that great.
Okay, so I would say, like, when I started getting interested in nutrition, like 2015, 2016, like, that's when flexible dieting was really like starting to hit its stride, and
if it fits your macros
thing. And, MyFitnessPal was getting its feet off the ground, and all the research and learning that I was doing was kind of centered around macros, which is counting calories. So, like, when I first started coaching people, that was kind of my default to go to. Of course, like, taking steps to educate them on the basics of nutrition also that have to be understood to even know what a macronutrient is. But I think that kind of like gave me a bias because of the time that I entered in, that like calorie counting, macro counting was like the pinnacle of how you gain and lose weight on purpose. But I feel like over time I've taken a step back from that. And yes, I still do use it as a tool with clients, and Haley still uses it as a tool with clients. But I think you could just look at, I've said this many times on this podcast, but you could just look at calorie counting and macro counting as any other fad diet, like Weight Watchers, like maybe not Activia because that one's from the devil, but cutting carb, like doing South Beach or doing keto, carnivore, whatever. Like, it could be something that you just white knuckle your way through, get the result that you want, but you don't really learn much along the way if you do it wrong. And if you don't build the underlying habits, and if you don't understand what the food on your plate contains as far as calories and macros, you don't have a general change in your habits that leads you to eat in a way that lines up with your calorie and macronutrient goals without having to actually type in the actual food or set it on the scale every single time. So yes, it is still a tool that I use and will continue to use, but I think in general it's overrated. And if you go about it the wrong way, you might as well do keto. If you're going to just not learn along the way, throw the macro counting out the door when you're done, you reach your goal or you get sick of it, and you'll just regain the weight.
Yeah. Okay.
So because of that, we take a different approach. with our clients, where we don't put calorie counting up on this pedestal. Like, you have to do it to get results. You have to hit your calories. You have to hit your protein. Like, we build in much more flexibility and education than, I mean, I can't speak to what other coaches do, but that's our approach to make sure that this is a fundamental mindset and habit change that leads to lasting results.
With education as the key piece of like understanding what you're putting on your plate, what you're putting in your mouth every time you eat.
Amen and amen.
All right. 11th one. Adopt a fitness-oriented lifestyle if you want to be a fit person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about this one? I feel like I'm out of breath.
You look like you're out of breath.
Let me take a deep breath. Yeah, I mean, this is just like, I think people gloss over this. They just forget. Like, I'm going to join a program. Yeah. I'm going to do a program. Okay. How long do you want to be fit? Do you want to be fit when you hit the end of the program? Do you want to be fit when you're 65, 75, 80? Because if you don't adopt a fitness-oriented lifestyle, you're not going to maintain the result you get while you're on the program. Right. You have to have a fundamental change into who you are. You have to become a different person who does different things by default.
So what's a fit? What's a fit person defined as?
I would say it's somebody who has an active lifestyle, meaning they don't live a sedentary life where their default is to, do nothing, get 2,000 steps per day. It's somebody who has a healthy body fat percentage / BMI. BMI gets a lot of flack, but it's still pretty good for telling if somebody's overweight or not. It's somebody who doesn't have elevated risk of chronic disease like high cholesterol, extra risk for heart disease, poor insulin sensitivity, type 2 diabetes. Somebody who's strong, somebody who is relatively strong compared to their age, their training age, their experience level. And somebody who has the cardiovascular capacity to have the energy for everyday life. They don't get winded going up 2 flights of stairs. To me, that is a fit person. And then also just are you fit enough to enjoy your life? We're going to get to this kind of a little bit in the end, but can you run after a grandkid or a kid and catch them, if they're running out, in the street? Can you play with them? Can you go outside for 15 minutes and kick a ball around with them? Yeah. Can you pick something up out of a car and turn around with it safely and put it on the ground? Exactly.
Can you help an old person put a suitcase overhead?
Exactly.
In the airplane? Just these little things that we do in our daily life. How, is it a difficult task or is it a fairly easy task? So we're not talking about being an athlete.
Yeah.
When we say fit.
Yeah. You want to be a well-rounded fit person whose physical ability never limits their ability to enjoy their life or perform tasks in their life. And the only way to do that is to forget about the 30, 60, 90-day challenges and become somebody who lives a fitness-oriented lifestyle.
What was the term you just interviewed?
Dr. Sullivan.
Yeah. And what was
Sully.
The term?
He calls everybody an athlete of aging.
Yes.
And aging is the most extreme sport.
Yeah.
So you're training for your sport, which is getting older. You're aging.
So it shouldn't be something we're doing. We're going to do this for 90 days. We're doing this for the rest of our life.
That's right.
We're training to be a live human on this earth for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
So it's not like you said, it's not a program we're trying to join and get some quick results from.
There is no end.
Yeah, there is no end.
There is an end, but it's not when your credit card is denied or when your final payment is made on your program.
Or or when 90 days is up.
Right.
Yeah. I love it. All right. 50% effort yields less than 50% results.
Yeah. I wrote a blog about the Pareto principle where 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. And it's just a coincidence that they add up to 100. but really, the point is, you can't expect to get the same results if you're not willing to put in 100% of the effort. Yeah. So on the workout front, this might be I skip my conditioning, 3 times a week because I don't feel like it. It looks hard. It's probably not that big a deal, right? Yeah, it is a big deal. You might think because there were 6 things on your workout and you only skipped 1, that you should get 80% results. No, you're not going to get 80% results. And not only on the physical side, but you're limiting yourself on what you going back to the do hard things.
That's
also,
I think that's
becoming
that's
a person.
the more important piece is it's not just even if it's just that day. It's not that day. It's something that sticks with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that sticks with you when you finish something that you didn't want to start, and there's something that sticks with you when you don't finish something that you stopped early.
And not only that, but like I've said this before too, but you get better at whatever you decide to practice.
Yeah.
So if you practice doing the hard thing, doing the entire workout, giving 100% effort, you're going to get better at that, and it's going to get easier. Now, if you're training yourself to skip the hard things, to only do 75% of your workout, to do half and still expect half of the results, you're training yourself for that to be easier every time you do it. I skipped last time. It's pretty easy to skip this time.
Yeah.
I went completely bonkers with my nutrition last weekend. Nothing really bad happened last weekend. It's pretty easy to do it again.
Yeah.
But you're training yourself to perform worse.
Yeah.
Basically.
I have a good example about this with push-ups. I used to, kind of work out between coaching classes at the gym. So I would often just like try to rush past the warm-up section because I felt like I was already pretty warm. I'd been, walking around for a couple hours already coaching classes. But in the warm-up, what is there? There's a lot of maybe like 30 air squats, 30 push-ups, maybe 30 sit-ups, all these little pieces that I was missing. And when we moved out here and, I'm working out by myself or with you and I'm like doing these warm-ups because I'm starting off cold, I'm realizing like I have gotten so much better at push-ups because I'm not skipping that piece of my workout anymore.
Yeah. Let's take this real quick. We said we were going to keep this short. We're like halfway through the list. Over to the nutrition side real quick. Really the tying nutrition and training together. I mean, probably the most common thing in the world when it comes to people not getting the results they want with their fitness is because if you picture training as 50%, nutrition as 50%, people are putting in the work in the gym. They're thinking that's, most of it. I mean, how important could the food we eat be? And they don't get results. They're putting in 50% effort into that imaginary 100% part of the pie, and they're getting nowhere near 50% of the potential that they could be getting if they were to put in 50% effort into the nutrition side, the other 50%. And even if they don't do it perfectly, you're going to take yourself way beyond what you think you could accomplish with your training if you start giving a darn about what you put in your mouth. It's you cannot outwork the 1 hour a day in the gym 5 times a week even with the other 23 hours. The 23 hours you're spending not in the gym will never be able to outweigh what you do for that 1 hour in the gym. I'm probably saying it wrong, but you get the point.
Yeah. All right, we better move on.
I better hurry up and finish this coffee.
Don't drink anymore. All right, number 13. This is a big one. Your mental response to an injury is far more important than the injury itself.
I don't remember if it was in the interview with Sully also. No, it was an interview with Darren Deaton where we talked about adopting an injured mindset. Everybody's going to get an injury somewhere along the way. You had a really serious injury. I've had serious injuries. The most important thing to do when you get injured is to not adopt an injured mindset. Don't immobilize yourself. Don't catastrophize yourself. Don't think you'll always be that way. Know that you are not as fragile as you feel in the moment right after you get hurt.
Don't stop everything else. If it's a single body part situation, don't stop everything else. Yeah.
I mean, even like research shows that if you have a lame limb and you continue to exercise the limb that you can still use, there's carryover strength benefit to
Buttons is a great example of this.
Yeah, Buttons got a bum leg right now, and she's still training on the good 3 legs. She shouldn't be, but yes. Yeah. So the human body is amazingly resilient at coming back from injury. Now that doesn't mean you can be stupid and immediately go back to what you were doing when you got hurt. You need to progressively work through that in a smart way, but that will take physically so much longer and will be so much more mentally draining on you if you adopt an injured mindset when you have an injury also. And then also when you have an injury and you adopt the injured mindset, that is probably going to want to carry over into your nutrition also. You're going to develop a case of the screw it's where you're like,
I can eat anything.
Screw it. I'm not going to be able to work out the same. I'm just going to go hard into these Ghirardelli peppermint bark chocolates.
Have you had some of those lately?
There's a couple mixed into this coffee.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So be aware of that. Like,
Yeah.
Control what you can. When you have an injury and you can't train the way that you want to, guess what? You got extra time and attention to focus on your nutrition.
This is a piece I've just like the doomsdaying that I've learned the hard way about myself as well, as I would tend to what did you say? Catch myself having a much stronger mental response to what was going on versus what was actually going on.
Yeah. Feeling
like this was it for me, kind of feeling. Yeah. We had a great, I'm not going to say any names but a client that had one of our older clients that been with us over 2 years, but really never really missed a workout, to be honest. And she had a major injury come up about 2 weeks ago. And I was
not a training injury.
No, not a training injury. Yeah. But, I'm like, cancel her membership. I felt so sad. And she just emailed 2 days ago, okay, I'm going to be able to do upper body.
This was like a week and a half post accident.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what an amazing mindset this woman has of just like, I'm not going to I'm down a limb. I'm not going to let myself get completely weak. Let's keep going. I can do everything I can still do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is why the fit get fitter right here. People who do that.
Almost made me want to tear up just saying that for some reason.
She's inspiring.
She is very inspiring. Okay. 14.
Does she listen to our podcast?
I'm not sure. I don't know who listens. Does anybody listen?
Anybody out there?
Growth is not the pinnacle. Achieving the outcome is the pinnacle.
I thought about this one really from the perspective of business first, because like everybody's probably heard of hustle culture, like, nose to the grindstone, 24 hours a day, no days off, grow, like scale the business. And I think I got caught up in that mindset a little bit, like, reading certain books, listening to certain podcasts. And, at some point, I don't know when it was a few months ago, and then it was kind of reinforced working with Justin, because in his intake questionnaire, he basically asked us about what are your financial goals for the business. And it really came down, and we actually both independently filled out these questionnaires about what does your ideal day or week look like? And we didn't see each other's answers, and then we went over them on a call with him. And he's like, basically, y'all have the same idea.
It's like the newlywed game
of the perfect day. Just sit there and stare into each other's eyes all day. Not. But yeah, the point was like, that ideal day, week that we want isn't a result of scaling Digital Barbell to $1 million a month. That would actually be counterproductive to what we want. So there's no point to like, yes, we do want to grow the business because we can reach more people. We can hire more coaches and provide them a living wage to do what they love also, but not at the expense of, just growing for the sake of growth. Like we're trying to achieve a lifestyle that is fulfilling both personally and professionally for us. And it doesn't have to be, at the scale of, whoever you see on Instagram that you think is killing it, driving their Lamborghini.
Right.
And then like the other thing that I thought about this was, like achieving a certain level of fitness, like achieving a certain level of leanness, like just continuing to like make yourself better and better is a worthy pursuit, but don't do it at the expense of your lifestyle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, make sure your kids know your name because you're not in the gym 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like there's a point of diminishing returns. Yeah. Eventually to all this. If you're
like hell bent on like, I want to have an 8-pack one day. And then that's right. You don't know what it actually takes.
Right. You're like, I only get to eat 2 grains of rice and a piece of spinach to get that 8-pack.
Yeah, just think through like what, is how much is that going to affect your lifestyle? Yeah. For that one single outcome.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to get at with that.
Okay. All right. 15. Just do it. Thanks, Nike.
Yeah. Trademark Nike.
And don't overanalyze. You'll have more regret if you don't. You'll have more regret if you don't than if you try. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're saying like don't like pontificate on something so long that you never even
try
do it. You'll have more like FOMO than if you would have just tried it and seen what would have happened.
Yeah. Instead of spending weeks, months, years analyzing this certain situation. Yeah. Just jump and then figure it out as it goes. It goes
I feel along. Like we've gotten better about this with our business actually. Like, we've, had programs in the past. We've had just coaching. Like we've tried a lot of different things and I feel like that's okay.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happened when we tried something. We ended up, course correcting to do something different after a while. It wasn't the end of the world. So
yeah. And things just tend to like kind of work, like I think about opening the CrossFit gym is a good example. Like I didn't have it all planned out. Like I didn't have the building picked out. I didn't have coaches. I didn't have the programs written. And I didn't have any of it figured out when I decided I was going to open Track CrossFit. I was coaching out of the garage, and and I was letting it build organically. And I think that if I had tried to like overanalyze and figure out if I could even run a business in lease a space and all that stuff, I think I would have been paralyzed by the fear of it.
Yeah.
Rather than just starting it in the garage and seeing where it led to. And
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
People do this with like starting a workout or a nutrition change to their nutrition too. Be like, okay, let's see. I know that I have, 75 pounds to lose. I'm ready to start, but I am going to be on vacation a week and 3 months. Maybe I should wait and start after then.
Yeah.
Okay, you're overanalyzing just to keep yourself from starting. Just start.
Yeah.
Or as Nike says, just do it.
All right, 16. Progressive overload is the missing piece in most people getting the results that they want.
Yep.
You want to talk about real quickly what progressive overload is?
Progressive overload is your body's taking advantage of your body's natural ability to adapt to stress. Mm-hmm. So in the weight room, that means we apply a stress to our body, whether it's an endurance-based stress or it's lifting a weight.
Load, yeah.
We let ourselves recover through sleep and nutrition, and then we come back the next time stronger. Mm-hmm. And the way that we make progress through that is by progressively overloading what our body did the last time to make us continue to make a new adaptation to make us stronger, so make us fitter.
We're adding speed, we're adding reps, we're adding weight,
right?
Whatever the stimulus is.
I mean, I said this is the missing piece in most people getting the results that they want. And the reason is because so many people either they don't follow a program that includes progressive overload, or they go to just group classes where it would be almost impossible to include progressive overload into the training model. They're going in and exercising, getting hot, sweaty, tired, lifting weights, jumping around, whatever. Like, not saying that's bad, but they're leaving a ton of progress on the table because they're not taking advantage of progressive overload. Yeah.
And another way that this can happen by not getting their results is you kind of get comfortable or complacent doing the workouts that you enjoy and doing the things at the weights that you are comfortable with. And so you're either not willing to add weight or reps or any speed or intensity, or you're not tracking, and so you don't really know if you're adding weight, reps, or speed.
Like every week, like when we do our own workout, like we have a pretty good idea what we did last week because we track our workout, and we can like legitimately see that we're getting stronger using progressive overload because we track our workouts. We know like if we did 65-pound barbell curls last week and we got 12, 11, 10 reps on 3 sets, and we do it again next week and we get 13, 12, we know we took advantage of progressive overload and made progress. Our muscles literally got stronger and or got bigger. There's just no way to do that without keeping track and having a program that takes advantage of progressive overload.
Same thing on the conditioning side. That's why there's a lot of workouts that you might see. Sometimes you'll repeat a workout because you can then like look at what you did last time, and maybe this time you can do that workout faster, or maybe this time you can do a movement that you couldn't even do before, like a pull-up, or maybe this time you can use a barbell instead of a dumbbell. You can see yourself getting better.
Absolutely.
I track old school in a notebook because I just like to be able to like flip back to the week right there and see what I did. And I like to write down little notes for myself too. You track through True Coach and you use the exercise history button to see what you've done last. So.
And progressive overload doesn't just have to be weight on the bar. It can be an increase in reps, an increase of range of motion,
increase in intensity,
a more difficult version of the exercise that you're doing, like a longer hold on a plank. Like those are all examples of progressive overload.
Not trying to do a selfless plug here, but that is why having a coach matters too, because we can watch your videos and see how you're moving and know, like, are you're not moving, you could add some more intensity here. You could move that bar faster, you could pull that weight faster. So
I mean, like if you think about the evolution of our own training personally, it really wasn't until we started taking advantage of progressive overload that we legitimately got stronger, and we legitimately started seeing a big change in our physiques. Like we did CrossFit exclusively from 2009 to 2013, 14, something like that, before till we got into, starting strength.
Yeah.
So, there you can get stronger doing CrossFit. You can get incredibly fit doing CrossFit, but it's very hard, unless there's a dedicated strength program at your gym to use progressive overload.
Well, that is why
you're doing the workout of the day.
CrossFit has so many named workouts, and that's why you see those repeated, because you can
measure your fitness.
You can measure your fitness.
That's not a progressive overload. Yeah. It's a test.
It's a test
of whether
if you've gotten fitter. Can you move this load or reps or weight faster than you did last time?
Yeah. But once we started using progressive overload, in our own workouts every single day, every single week, that's when progress was unlocked.
We saw body composition change.
And that's the same thing with our clients. Like they're like, oh, this was the thing that I was missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
We've talked too long on that one.
So we're still kind of on that topic. So 17 is effort is the secondary key to getting those results.
Yeah.
So this is not just checking the box, like checking off A through E that you've done the workout, but what was the effort that went into each of those A through E's?
It turns out you just don't get in good shape by doing workouts. You have to actually put the right amount of effort and intensity into a workout to get that stress that we talked about in the last one, in order to get that adaptation after you recover. Your best adaptations will come from applying the right stress. And most people apply way less stress than they can to get a good adaptation out of. This is the reason that like people do 1 million reps with their 5 pound, 7 pound, 10 pound dumbbells, and they never actually make any change to their body or to their strength, is because they're never working at a high enough effort level to cause the adaptation that they're actually looking for. They're getting a good burn. Feel like they're doing something because they're tired, but they're not getting enough stimulus to get the adaptation that they want. And like this goes back to, we can't go down this rabbit hole too deep, but we're talking about RPE here, essentially the rating of perceived exertion. It's a subjective measurement of how close to failure were you. And if you've never...
We use the term hard sets in our coaching.
Yeah, same thing. So we find that most people are working at probably by default closer to a RPE 5 or 6 out of 10, if 10 is the most that you can absolutely do. And as we coach them, we help them learn that when you're closer to 7, 8, 9 on that scale of 10, that's where the progress is really made.
All right. 18. The ability to do something when it's tempting to do nothing has the ability to unlock new levels of progress. This
I mean, this is the whole thing.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing, really.
I think what we're talking about here is just like being okay with running out on the beach if you're on a vacation and you don't have anything, just doing something versus doing nothing in that situation. Like
looking at the menu at the restaurant, seeing that there's no grilled chicken and vegetables on there, and you just go for the most indulgent thing possible because the most healthy option wasn't there. It's like this total all or nothing thing. Like, I'm going to give zero effort on this meal, or I'm going to give...
Let's go with the positive examples.
Okay.
Like being okay with, you have 30 minutes, being okay with this kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, but not completing the workout, but this is a different situation. Being okay with just starting your workout and getting through 30 minutes, because that's all you have today, versus just saying like, I only have 30 minutes, I'm going to do nothing.
Yeah.
And then the other good example at the restaurant
let's keep it positive.
Like,
you're right.
Like you the other day, we went out to a meal with people, and Jonathan ordered a sensible dinner, like chicken and vegetables, and then had some beers. So that was you're okay with like, I want to have a couple beers, so I'm going to order something more sensible for my meal.
Yeah. There's like acknowledging that there's trade-offs that you can make and being willing to make them.
Yeah.
Versus just being like 100%.
Being like, I'm out, so I'm going to have everything that looks decadent right now.
Yeah. Just give some effort, even if you can't give all.
Right.
And over time, all that effort that you gave will add up to progress.
Yeah. So I'll say the thing again, the ability to do something when it's attempting to do nothing.
Maybe it should say the willingness to do something.
Yeah, the willingness to do something when it's tempted to do nothing has the ability to unlock new levels of progress.
I'm going to get that tattooed on my arm.
I'm going to change it right now. The willingness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the option is always there. It's, are you willing?
Exactly. All right.
And if you're not willing, that's fine too. Just like be okay with it.
Yeah. I'm going to let you read 19. I think you wrote this one and it seems a little harsh.
Perfectionism is really just an excuse that makes you feel better about yourself. So the reason this comes up is because so many people are like, they say things like, you know, I'm going to do it perfect. This really ties into the last one, but I'm going to do it perfectly, or I have to do it perfectly, or I'm just not going to do it at all. And it's funny how this just really comes out when it's like talking about doing their workouts or eating healthy. Like that's when they're a perfectionist. Not when it comes to, you know, being the best at budgeting or, you know, keeping their house insanely clean or never missing a blade of grass when they're using the edger. Not so much of a perfectionist on those things.
I don't know.
I'd like to meet the person who is a 100% perfectionist on everything. And I'd like to talk to their spouse too, to see what it's like to live with them.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so the point was like, we pull this perfectionism thing out of our pocket.
It's like a card we can play.
Like oh no. I would have tried, you know, and done it differently, but I'm a perfectionist and, you know, I either have to do it perfectly or I'm not going to do it at all. And we pull that out.
So what's the lesson? Not pulling that card out.
Have the awareness of whether you like, is that true? Right. If it's not true in every area of your life, give yourself some grace when it comes to your training and nutrition to not be a perfectionist. If you really are, then give yourself a bit of a break, because nobody is making progress in the midst of being perfect. It's like the example of the dimmer switch. Like your fitness progress is not going to be made when the light switch is completely on or when it's completely off. It's going to be sliding up and down, and all the progress that you're really going to make is as that dimmer is going up and down. And so long as you use the excuse of perfectionism as, you know, you're the gatekeeper of what you're going to do, like you're never going to make progress. Like give yourself some permission to not be a perfectionist. And if you're not really a perfectionist, call yourself out on it and just get busy.
And also lift heavy, be nice.
Lift heavy, be nice.
Like that's why I'm here, is to keep Jonathan nice.
Yeah.
All right, 20. We're almost there.
Let's wrap this up before my heart explodes.
Calories, protein, and fiber are all you really need to worry about.
This kind of goes back to the counting calories is overrated kind of thing. But even if you are a calorie counting kind of person, don't worry about your carbohydrates and fat. The most important thing for your overall health, for your fat loss, for muscle building is how many calories you're eating most days, how much protein you're eating most days, and how much fiber you're eating most days.
Give a quick reminder about fiber. Where can you get some fiber? Fiber's
contained in carbohydrate sources like grains, legumes, berries, mission tortillas.
Avocado.
A lot of foods are being fortified with fiber nowadays, soluble and insoluble.
And a quick reminder of what range you want to be in.
Most of my guy clients, I keep in the 30 to 40 grams of fiber per day, and most of my female clients, 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day.
And this is a time when like something like using a tool like logging is helpful, so that you have an awareness, because there's no like, you're not going to know like I have 40 grams of fiber in my body right now.
No clue.
You're not going to know. So just using the calorie counting, the macro counting is where you use these educational tools to learn. Yeah. And then once you've learned, okay, as long as I get a cup of raspberries and an avocado and, you know, my oatmeal and blah, blah, blah in a day, I've got my fiber goal. Yeah. That's kind of where the education piece on that. Same thing on the calories. I mean, I think we pretty much know if we're eating too many calories or not, because if we weigh ourselves regularly, we're either staying the same, losing, or gaining weight. So if we're gaining weight, we're eating too many calories. If we're losing weight, we're not eating enough, or, you know, if we're staying the same, we're eating about right. So, and a general rule for protein is to get between 0.8 and 1.2 grams of protein per day per pound that you weigh, unless you have a significant amount of weight to lose. If that is you, then just send me a message and I'll help you set your protein goal. Or to make it simple, like if you weighed 150 pounds you want 150 grams of protein a day.
It's a great starting place. Is it going to be perfect for everybody? No, it doesn't have to be perfect for everybody. That's why we work with people one-on-one when it comes to their nutrition. But the point of this whole calories, protein, and fiber are all you really need to worry about is to take the pressure off of yourself.
Did I say that right? 150?
Yeah, you said 150 and 150.
Okay.
Take the pressure off yourself. Let go of some of that perfectionism, which will ultimately lead to more compliance, more consistency, which is the thing that holds people back from getting results, is the lack of those things. So you can take some of that pressure off, maybe you'll get better results.
All right, 19. Oh, sorry. Gosh. No, we're on 21. 21. You will be more consistent if you have a plan.
Yeah. We just talked about this on another recent episode about how like I did not have a workout the other day. I walked out, I'm just like scratching my nose and like, doing some curls and checking my phone and petting the dog. It's like, I mean, let's be honest, like whether you buy a plan or you just download something off of the internet or pick up a Woman's World magazine at the grocery store that has a workout plan in it, you're probably going to be more consistent if you at least know what to do.
It's like why we like forever have done to-do lists, or back in the school days, we had our little homework notebook assignment. And we're like, here's what we have to do. Like if you have a plan, you can check it off and get it done. Even if you're writing your workouts yourself, like write it out on a calendar. Here's my plan for the week. And maybe in that adding some progressive overload.
Yeah, you can progressive overload anything. And this goes over to the nutrition too. And this doesn't mean you need to have a meal plan, but it means you need to have a clue what you're going to eat that day. One of the reasons that pre-logging your food, if you're tracking, is so effective is because it essentially gives you a plan to follow for the day that you know has the outcome that you want. You know, retroactive logging at the end of the day is it's not a plan. It's like a history lesson of what you did or didn't do right. You need a plan to follow. So again, that's just having a plan leads to more consistency. And just like the last one, more consistency leads to better results.
I just say this is why we're such a good team, because when we see something like this, my brain goes toward the training side, your brain goes toward the nutrition side, and then we can talk about both. It's pretty cool.
I like it. Let's stay together.
All right. Last one, 22. We made it. Fitness is meant to enhance your lifestyle, not take it over. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but we defined what a fit person was. And so the goal here is that getting out in the gym and doing your workouts, becoming a fit person is meant to allow you to do what we were talking about earlier, play with your kids, pick up heavy things. Like the other day we had to each pick up our dogs and like run with them, and they're not light, and
they look light,
and their dachshund bodies, they're not easy to hold. Just stuff like that.
You're making us sound pretty weak if we can't carry a dachshund.
These are hefty duty dachshunds. I have to say, we had Chihuahuas before, and I don't even think Buttons is a dachshund. There's no way. She's like 35 pounds. I've never seen a dachshund that big. But anyway, they're so long. Like I used to be able to hold 2 Chihuahuas in each arm, and I can barely hold Buttons, not because of her weight, because of her awkward body. Yeah. They're so long.
She got some funky proportions.
Hangs weird.
She's all front heavy.
Anyway, it was a very embarrassing situation where like, I'm getting off tangent, but some dog started chasing us, and our dogs, this is like a tiny little dog, but our dogs are animals, and we really didn't want our dogs to attack these other dogs. And so we're like picking up our dogs and trying to run back to our house, and our neighbor was like, do y'all need some help?
So basically our fitness kept their dog alive. It enhanced their lifestyle. But that is the point. Like, we're doing all this, eating healthy most of the time, working out all the time. We're doing all this not because we just want to look better at the pool party on Memorial Day. We want to have a good life.
Right. And another example you gave was like jumping off a tailgate, like just like things that you do in your life and you don't want to like get injured doing something silly out in the world. This is why we're trying to be fitter people, and this is the point of why fitness should enhance your lifestyle and just allow you to have these abilities to do the things that you love to do, to go on a hike, to windsurf, whatever it is, to play golf for 4 hours.
Makes you thinking about Bernie,
Puerto Rico,
living this.
We have a lot of golfers, golfer clients, and that that's a big thing, is having the endurance to go on a 4-hour.
You can walk it instead of ride the cart.
Okay.
23? No, just kidding.
That was it.
Okay, I guess we can type this up and put them in the show notes,
sure.
right? All these 1 through 22. All right, good. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed that list of 22 takeaways from 2022.
Yep.
Just to recap, if you
Here's all 22.
Yeah. This time we're going to go in reverse. Take advantage of the sale that we have going on. Essentially, let us customize a training program for you and let us coach you through it. Let us help you put all these things that we just talked about in place. And let us give you a free month of nutrition coaching in the process.
We know this works because back in the day, if you were around when we started Digital Barbell, we had things called Digital Barbell Body and Digital Barbell Built, and those came with a free month of nutrition.
Yep.
And it worked. People joined the program and they got the free month of nutrition and they stayed nutrition clients and they got amazing results because they were not 50, we're going back
to number 12.
They were not going to 50%. They were at 100%.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys. We hope you have a safe and happy new year coming up this weekend. Be careful out there. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. And let's all survive with all of our fingers from setting off fireworks. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.